I'm making this video for those who don't know who all the LEC versus teams are. How many teams are there? There's 12 teams, and we're going to go through all of them. Now, first we have SK Gaming. Now, SK Gaming, we call them the retirement home. Why? Because they got a bunch of old, kind of washed up players, and this project is helmeted by Mickey X. SK gave him the reins, to create a team full of his old friends, and we'll see what they can do. KC Blue. Now, I think this team, this is the training art team, They're in the hyperbolic time chamber. Why? Because that's a nicer way of viewing, because otherwise you will notice that they are completely screwed. It's a bunch of players from KC's Division 3 team, and they're here, for a little bit. I think their main star is Yukino. He's a player to look out for. Next, we have Los Ratones. I would say these guys are kind of invading the studio. It's like a rat infestation that's going on. With K-Drill's, fans, they're taking over. It's gonna be hype. There's gonna be a lot of them. It's gonna be nice, and we're gonna be able to see Baus, the crazy streamer, do some crazy plays, and hopefully it turns out for the best for them. Now, next we have Koi. I label them the pond boss. They're kind of the mafia guys. The Spanish mafia of the LEC. They're kind of the second in command to G2. They take they take where G2 leaves. They represent the Spanish community as a whole, and I would look out for Eluya, their captain. He kind of spearheads the team and leads the charge. Next, we have Fnatic. Now, Fnatic in the days of old, they were kind of like the Chad Eagle, They got the pick that they wanted, everybody respected them. Now they're kind of scavengers. They take what doesn't work from the other teams, and they kind of try to piece something together. They got two great new Greek soul laners, one of them Vladdy, who got kicked from KC. I think it'll be exciting to see his sort of revenge arc and see what he can do this year. Next of GX, I label them the scrim gods. Why? Because they are the gods, but of practice. They're not actually ever putting forth what they're good at. But these guys, they're usually top half. They're pretty fun to watch. I would look out for Jun. He's really good at engages. This guy's like crazy good. But we'll see what they can do if the mythos can live up to the reality. Next, we have KC. I'll label them the Wolf Pack because they're a new mid laner. Kiahu, his whole thing is going ow like a wolf. They're kind of like a closed-in wolf pack. And they'll maul you, they'll attack you if you're against them. They represent the kind of the yin to Koi's yang in that they represent the French community as a whole. That's why there's the French Revolution. They're gonna come at you if you're against them. And of course, representing them is Khalees here. He's kind of their star player. He's the new up-and-coming star of the LEC. Next, we got Navi. Navi, it's their full first year as a project. They were taking over from Rogue that left the LEC. I would label them as Reforged. They're trying to craft these new European gems into something greater. Trying to craft a weapon that can defeat the gods. I would take a look for Poby. He was Faker's understudy, and this guy will be kind of leading the charge for the team. Next, we have Heretics. I would label them as underrated. You shouldn't sleep on these guys. These guys usually they perform better than you expect. They're kind of the hipster team, if you want to, say that, oh, I like a team, that's kind of, it's kind of here, kind of there, and they're led by the great jungle support that are French, and particularly Sheo. He's the jungler. This guy, don't sleep on him. He's gonna do some crazy stuff. Next, we have Vitality. I would label them the muscle of the LEC. Why is that? Because they're all brawn, no brains. They're gonna outplay you. They're gonna fist fight you, and if they're better than you, they're just gonna win. And the one that truly showcases this in Vitality is Nakanako. He's a top laner. He's gonna pick Yasuo. He's gonna either die 15 times or he's gonna completely carry the game. He's a crazy guy. Next, we have Shifters, and I labeled them the Shift. Why? Because it's better if we imagine this as a kind of temporal shift. We're kind of forgetting about what happened last year. It's in the void. It's forgotten about, right? They were used to be pretty good. Last year, they struggled greatly, but this is a whole rebranding. It's time to emerge anew, And I'm gonna showcase Nuke. I think this guy's really working a shift. He's really putting in the work, and hopefully he can bring Shifters back to how they were before. Finally, we have G2, the kings of the LEC, they're sitting on their throne. These guys are always winning. If you want a team to support these guys, they got their crazy picks, and they're led by the GOAT of Europe, Caps. They're an easy team to root for because they're probably always going to win. And that's the LEC presented, the LEC Versus presented, all the teams showing to you who's going to win, who knows, maybe this has given you some idea of a team to support. And yeah, that's it for today.